Legendary actor Terry Gilliam absolutely obliterates woke insanity and commits the biggest sin in Hollywood, which is, of course, saying anything positive about Trump whatsoever. Just look at this headline here. Trump saved us from humorless woke scolds. The leftists are absolutely losing their minds over what he says in the story that we're going to be checking out here today. Terry Gilliam, shut the F up challenge. And this person is sharing some of the other headlines that have come from Terry Gilliam in the past as well, like this one. I'm tired of white men being blamed for everything wrong with the world. And this one right this one right here is hilarious. This, of course, is very offensive to the leftist ideology. Moment of silence for when I didn't have to hate Terry Gilliam. So the leftists are going absolutely insane, which means, of course, that Terry Gilliam is doing something correct. Hollywood is all up in arms over what Terry Gilliam says here today, and we're going to get into it all and see what he has to say in this epic interview. So filmmaker Terry Gilliam credits Trump for making comedy great again, and that is a very offensive statement. How could he say this? How could he say anything positive about Trump? Well, Terry Gilliam has continued to say some very base things, and what he says here today takes the cake for it all. Filmmaker Terry Gilliam said Trump turned the world upside down, loosening the grip of what he sees as humorless activism on the comedic landscape. And that is exactly what is happening. For anybody who's been paying attention to comedy for especially the last 10 years, we all see just how dry it is, how safe it is, how boring it is. Obviously, there are pockets where there are still really good comedy and really good comedians out there, but that is generally speaking what the landscape of comedy has been, and that is because of the woke BS that we have had to deal with. I think Trump has changed things considerably. Gilliam said he's turned the world upside down. I don't know if people are going to be laughing more, but they're probably less frightened to laugh. People are getting more bold about just saying what they want to say and are not worrying as much about the politically correct nonsense, and that is exactly what we need to continue to push, because they want to censor what you say. They want to control free speech, and comedy and people just saying whatever they want to say goes directly against all of that. So the 84-year-old director ripped what he called the narrow self-righteous attitude of left-wing activists who, he said, intimidated comedians into silence, which is 100% correct. And we've seen it over the years. This is exactly what they have done. There have been woke activists with a very narrow, self-righteous point of view, Gilliam said. That's frightened so many people, and so many people have been very timid about telling jokes, making fun of things, because if you tell a joke, these people say you're punching down at somebody. That is exactly what comedy is. Comedy is supposed to be offensive. That is what makes it good. That is what makes it funny. And he is 100% correct about that. And I think that us seeing the landscape shifting when it comes to comedy and people being more open is just showing that there is a major pushback against that communistic, woke type of mentality. And that is a good thing. So Gilliam pushed back against the notion that making jokes about sensitive topics is inherently cruel, insisting that humor comes from observing human nature, flaws and all. No, you're finding humor is humanity. The legendary filmmaker lamented what he called the death of irony and satire in the age of woke policing. So irony, satire was basically dead, and humor to me is probably one of the most essential things in life. You've got six senses, and the seventh sense is humor, and if you don't have that, life is going to be miserable. And that is what we have seen with the woke crowd. They are some of the most miserable people on the planet. They're exactly proving his point. They're proving that they are completely miserable in the way that they view the world, and they are just offended by everything. And we shouldn't let these people be the ones that run the world. That would be just awful for the entire human race. So with that being said, let me know what you think about what Terry Gilliam is saying here today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.